What does it take to be a CPA? So it takes a college degree, which is about 128 hours of college coursework, and then it takes some additional college coursework, and then it takes passing this very, very, very rigorous exam, which could take years to pass. And I think about 5% of the people that take it pass it all on the first shot. Yeah.
What's the name of that test?
CPA exam.
CPA exam.
Yeah. So anybody, so I'm just curious, anybody in here have an accountant for a parent?
I haven't asked.
So your parent was an accountant?
Yeah.
And they like ran screaming from the profession because it was so horrific? From public accounting?
Normal.
Okay. Okay. So I'm curious where you're...
My mom, like, she used to be an administrator of the law firm, like, downtown, the Spearsville, Redmond, Williams.
Yeah.
She did all the payroll.
Yeah.
And everything.
Cool. And so do you have a parent that's an accountant too?
Yeah,
Me?
yeah, he works at Newland Associates.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's public accounting. So which is what I do. So I work in public accounting, which is like people, all different people come to me, businesses, individuals, to do their tax work or whatever. Versus that lady that you guys saw that works with Eli Lilly, she works for one company and she's in the finances of that one company. So they're completely different tracks, but they're both, that's what CPAs do.
So you have to take the same test to do both?
It's the same test. So the test, the CPA exam, is a national level test. So anybody in the United States, or anywhere in the United States, that has the initial CPA behind their name, they've passed that one test. So we take that test and then we practice. And then we have a license from the state of Tennessee, just like your doctor has a license from the state of Tennessee to practice medicine. I have a license from Tennessee to practice accounting. And every year I have to take 40 hours, which is a week, of continuing education to keep that license current. So that's what it takes to get into the profession. You get your degree, you take your test, you get your license, and then you go. And so public accounting is tax season. So did your dad do tax?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is tax season? Like what's up with tax season? What does that look like?
Long hours.
So do you ever see him during tax season?
No, not a lot.
Not a lot.
That's when I have like softball, so he never comes. It's okay.
Because that's at the same season.
Yeah.
So, so this is what I was telling the previous class. So like, let's say you guys go to UTC and you get your accounting degree. So and you go to work for a firm and you're going to do taxes. How much money do you think they're going to pay you the first year? For the whole year? Like, how much do you think an accountant makes for a year in Chattanooga, fresh out of school? Like, you don't know anything. Yes. Yeah. About 52,000 is what you'll make.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Really
is that what he
good.
said?
Yeah, he said 50. And so let me tell you, I asked the last class, and they said
$18 an hour,
which is about 36,000. So that's good. So what's going to, in exchange for that 52,000 that they're going to pay you, what are you going to give up?
Your time.
Your time, right? That's your resource. And so how much time?
Most of it.
A lot of it, right? And so, at least what?
At least an hour.
At least a good. If you can do it in an hour, you'd be a really, really fast worker. So what does it look like? From, let's just call it January 1st until April 15th, you're probably going to work at least 6, if not 7 days a week, and you're probably going to work 10, if not 12, maybe more hours a day for that time period. So the rest of the year, you're going to get a month off, paid, and you're going to have just a normal, just normal season, right? Normal work hours with a lot of time off. So that's what you're giving. You're giving up that time, and that's what your benefit is that paycheck. So So that's what that looks like. If you were gonna do that same job like in New York City, it'd probably be $80,000 a year, I would think, a starting salary. Wonder what your apartment would cost in New York.
About 500.
500?
No,
no.
Like $1,500 a month.
You would pay $1,500 a month, and you would have about this much space, and you'd be sharing an apartment with 3 other people and have 1 bathroom. So, let's go through a couple examples of things that will affect you guys. So does anybody have a job, or anybody work a job this summer? You have a job? Okay. So do you guys know what minimum wage is right now?
Yes.
$7.25.
$7.25. And so does anybody make more than minimum wage?
Yeah, baby.
And so that is so interesting. So do you all know, so why do you make more than minimum wage? Like they only have to, by law, pay you $7.25.
So you can make the job more.
So make you work harder. Yeah. Make
Okay.
you work more.
Does it work? Is it
Yeah.
effective? It is?
Yeah, I worked a lot.
You what?
I wouldn't want to work for $7.
Right, and you don't have to right now because you found somebody that's willing to pay you more than that, right? And why is that right now? Why are they willing to pay you more than they have to? So do you guys know what
Well, they
percentage?
get tax break.
But they're still coming out of pocket with more. You know, like how much? Like if you go to Starbucks, how much is a latte?
Like
How much? 5. So, would you rather pay $5 or $6 for the latte?
5.
So I would rather, pay you $7.25 an hour because that means me as a business owner I can keep more, right? But why are they paying you more? And so a big part is, so what's unemployment? Do you all know what percentage unemployment is right now in Tennessee?
Is it 6? No, wait, that's it.
So unemployment is the percentage of people that want to work but can't find a job. 36. It's 3.6%. It's the lowest it's ever been in the history of the state. And I think that's why you're making more than $7.25 an hour. Because you look and see how many people are out looking for work, which is not many, and how many jobs I have to fill, which is a lot. And if I only pay $7.25 an hour, what's my likelihood of being able to fill all those jobs? Probably not good, right? So, okay, so let's go. So you get a paycheck, right? You have taxes withheld. And so do you know about those taxes? And that's what we'll talk about. That's what we'll calculate. So every paycheck for every single American has got at least the 2 taxes here withheld. FICA and Medicare. Do you guys know what that is? So what's FICA? I mean, you know they withhold it, right? But do you know what it is? So the percentage, 6.2%, is coming straight off the top and going to Uncle Sam. And so FICA is basically retirement for when you retire, you're going to get a Social Security check, right? Every person that pays into the system is entitled to get a Social Security check when they retire. It's not a lot of money. But so you're starting to pay it in now at age 16, 17, 18, and you're going to pay it all of your working life. And then when you get to be 67, 68, 69, you're going to get a monthly check, which is a retirement check. And so what about Medicare? Do you see that withheld from your check too? So what is Medicare? Yes, exactly. So 1.45% of your check is withheld. So 6.2, 1.45, 7.65% of your total pay, you're never going to see. Well, you'll see it when you get older, hopefully. But that's withheld. And so income tax is what we'll talk about too. But income tax, it's up to you how much you want them to pay in for you. But there's a calculation, and that's what I do, is figure out how much income tax somebody owes or try to help them save on their tax when they get to the end of the year. So let's go through a paycheck. So I set this up to be an example for, like, you worked the summer, like you worked for 8 weeks of the summer. So let's figure out how much you will make an hour working a job during this, so one paycheck. So we're gonna calculate one paycheck, and then for the course of a summer, let's just say you work 8 weeks. So let's work for a full week, which is 40 hours. How much do you wanna make an hour? Or what's a reasonable amount to be get paid an hour?
I make 10 an hour.
So you make $19 an hour.
10.
$8.50. So we'll average it out at 9, okay? So let's go $9 an hour. You found somebody that's gonna pay you, you're gonna go to work for $9 an hour, and you're gonna work 40 hours, and so your gross, which is the big dollar, right? So 40 hours times 9, so you've earned $360 on that paycheck, right? But remember, 6.2% is going to FICA, 1.45 to Medicare. That's being withheld. And for this example, I've just said you're going to have $10 withheld for regular income tax, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So the $360 that you earn, your actual paycheck that you're going to be able to go deposit in the bank is $322, right? And you all are already experiencing that, right? So are you having tax withheld?
Yes.
So what happens? So in this example, over the course of this summer, you earned $2,800, but you actually went home with $2,500, right? So, and in this example, I've said over the course of the summer, you had $80 withheld. So you guys are having regular income tax withheld from your checks. So let's go look and see. At the end of the year, you're going to get a piece of paper, right? You're going to get a W-2, which is just a piece of paper that says from your employer how much you earned in that entire year and how much tax was withheld for you. And so you're going to take that W-2, and from that, you're going to probably give it to your parents to do your tax returns, but you can do the tax return yourself. In this example, was that the amount? Did that make up? Yeah, $2,880 is what you earned for the whole summer. In this case, it's going to be the year, and you had $80 withheld. So in this case, $2,880 total, your total income. But anything that you earn that's under this number, and that's just the law, $6,300. There's no tax on it. So in your case, you paid $80 in, so you can file your tax return and get it back. So that's a refund, right? If you earned more than $6,300, you would owe tax, or you would have tax. You may not owe it. So let me show you all what the tax rates look like.
So if you're underneath the 6,300, do you even have to file taxes?
You don't. You're not even required to file. But a lot of people do because they want to get back what was withheld.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so my question is, if you know you're not going to make more than $6,300, I wouldn't even bother having anything withheld. I would, because you go fill out that W-2, right? And you tell them how much to withhold, and you could put exempt, which means you're exempt from income tax. You're not going to make more than $6,300. So just don't have them withhold anything, because you have to get that $80 back. If you do let them withhold it, you have to file. So that's you all, right? And so what I told the other class is, well, let's look at the tax rates, okay? Because these are small dollars, right? And your dollars for yourselves will get bigger and bigger. I mean, we just said, if you've got a job in accounting, you're going to make $52,000. And so what does that look like? What's your tax going to be then? If you made $52,000, you're going to have tax, right? So what does our federal income tax look like in the United States? And for a single person, there are different rates if you're single or if you're married or if you're the head of a household, which means you're single, if you have children. There are different rates. But these are what the rates look like for a single person. So the first, and I describe the tax like a layer cake that tastes terrible, because the further up the cake you eat, the worse it tastes. So for the first $9,300 that you make, and this is $9,300 over this number, right? You have taxable income of up to $9,300, you're only gonna pay, I shouldn't have said only, you're gonna pay 10% of it in federal income tax. Okay, and so then the next layer, on the next layer of income, anything between this number and this number, you're gonna pay 15%. And it goes up and up and up. So when you get up to 418, anything over 418, roughly 40% of it goes to tax.
So if you make anything between $0 and $90,325, you're like taxed 10%, right?
Right. But just remember too. So let's just say you made $15,000, right? But you know that $6,350 of it is tax-free, right? So that means $8,650 is your taxable income. So that means you're going to pay $865 in tax. But you're going to compare that $865. That's how much your tax is calculated to be. But let's just say you made that 15. Your actual tax is that. But let's say you had $1,000 withheld on your paycheck. Then when you go file your tax return, you're going to get a $135 refund. Because your actual tax is $865, right? So $6,350 is, everybody gets a freebie on $6,350. Nobody pays tax on that. But in this case, you had that much over the $6,350, and your tax rate is 10%, so that's your actual tax. But you actually paid in this much during the year because they withheld it. So that means the federal government owes you that $135 back. And so what I do for a living is I'll take facts, and this is obviously the most simplistic set of facts that you could ever imagine, but I'll take a huge set of facts and put it together into a puzzle, and my goal is to try to get this number, the tax calculation, as small as I can, given that I have this whole set of rules, which is the Internal Revenue Code. And so, like, I have this guy that's got 23 companies that I just did. I just finished his tax returns. And they're all doing different things. You know, it might be construction, or it might be storage, or hardware, or all these different companies. And all these companies are standalone. But it's like a big wheel of companies. And in the center is his tax return. And everything that happens feeds into his tax return. And so my goal is to assess and figure out what's going in all these different places and get the best answer for him when it all comes together. And it's just putting a big puzzle together, and it's fun. So let me tell you all something else that I told the other. So this is what the tax rates look like, right? So I mean, you can see when you get to this kind of income, you're paying almost 40% of your income to tax. So what do you all think? So the tax laws change, right? So if we go back, I think that the Internal Revenue Code started in like 1913 or something crazy. So we've had all these years, you know, we've got 100 years of tax law, and the rates have changed throughout the time. What do you think the highest ever tax rate in the history of the United States has been? Knowing that right now the highest rate is 40%.
60.
Worth it, right?
Close.
100.
Like 93%. And so, I know. So there's a look of pain on Izzy's face that Sister Mary Rebecca's video will not touch it.
It's like all your money.
So, and I may have gotten this wrong, but the number, I think it was for income over $200,000. That was where the bracket happened. 93% was the rate. So anything that you made over $200,000, 93% of it went to the federal government. And so the year that that high rate was in effect was in the late 1940s. So why would the rate of tax been so high in the late 1940s? What was going on in the world, in the country?
World War II.
World War II. We were having to pay for a war, right? And so, and also the percentage of people that would have made that kind of money in the country, it would have been very, very few people. So very, very few people would have been affected. So also right now, so we're talking about income tax. We're not talking about FICA or Medicare, right? Because everybody pays that. What percentage of Americans do you all think pay any income tax? Pay even $1 of income tax?
90%.
It's okay. It's just less than half. Just less than half of Americans pay any income tax. Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but I know it's under 50%. So, so the bulk of the tax is actually paid by a very, very small percentage of Americans. The big dollars.
So if they're not paying income tax, how do you get out of that? Like, I don't understand. Are they making under the $6,300?
So it's probably a combination of they're not making enough money, you know. There are so many rules. I mean, you all have probably heard of like earned income credit. It is possible to be in a situation where you've got a couple of children and your income is in this weird low place, not too low, but in this weird low place that you could get a $5,000 or $6,000 refund and have paid nothing in. So it's just the laws are complicated and they change a lot. So how can people not be paying tax? They either don't make enough or they're not filing, right? So who would not file a tax return? Well, no, not just teenagers. Yeah, a nonprofit organization doesn't have to pay tax by definition. But so why do you file a tax return? Well, if I go to work, if I'm a teacher at Notre Dame's going to give me a W-2 at the end of the year that tells how much I made and how much was withheld. Well, what if I just don't want to file a tax return? Well, I kind of have to, because not only did Notre Dame give me that, they also sent it to the IRS. So IRS knows that I need to file a tax return, right? So how would you go under the radar for IRS? Like, how could you make money?
Self-employed.
You're self-employed. That's huge. So if you're self-employed and what you report to the government is not high enough to pay tax, that would be another reason why you wouldn't pay tax. Or another thing, what would be an industry where you would have a lot of cash that you just wouldn't report? Like, what would be a business that you could have? Drugs? There's actually a part of the Internal Revenue Code that deals with
Drug dealers.
Well, it deals for revenue from illegal things, which including drugs. So it specifically says, like, if you're out there selling an illegal drug, there's provision in the code to report it. I mean, you have to report. You're supposed to report by law all of your income, including from illegal activities, right?
Anything where you just get paid cash, like
Well, so think about because that's
Like
really
babysitting?
lawn mowing,
babysitting.
So if we've been babysitting,
day labors.
then we should be filing taxes.
Okay, so we need to not talk about that anymore. But, all of your income, according to the Internal Revenue Code, is subject to is income, right? But it's not all reported to IRS.
So interest from the bank?
Yeah, that's income. So if you sold your own clothes, no. But if you went and bought clothes to resell them, then that's a business.
Isn't it illegal?
No, that is not illegal. People do that for shoes all the time.
But like if I
I paid a 50% markup for a pair of shoes.
like what's eBay?
Huh?
that's what eBay's for.
Yeah, baby. Say some Supreme.
I like Vinci.
Flip that.
Um,
Get some.